We're talking about the universe, and it is the sum of all substance, for out of it are all visible things formed. It is all love, for it is bound together in a single system and operates as a single unit. Love is the integrity principle, or the binding principle, which maintains the universe as a unity and keeps all its operations moving in perfect harmony and regularity. The masters think of the universe as the universality of all things, with every condition and circumstance a portion of that universe or universality. A person may become separate, or he may separate himself in thought from that universe. Then he becomes a unit which, in thought only, is separate or apart. But instead of being apart, he is still a part of the great universe. One may become so separated in thought from that great universality that he surrounds himself with apartness, or the sense of limitation. He may withdraw so far from that universality in thought that he falls or descends in his capacities, and thus he is in a measure separated from that universality in which he really belongs. Of course, it is impossible to separate oneself or completely exclude oneself from that universality, for that would be to reduce himself completely to a state of non-existence. But when he returns to that universality of principle in consciousness, he is one with it and is lifted up into a higher state of capability. That is illustrated in the parable of the prodigal son. He wandered in many lands and spent his substance, but there was a welcome in the father's house upon his return. Even the brother who had stayed at home was jealous of the reception, but the father knew that the reception was always there. It is an allegorical picture of how one can extensively separate himself from universality by thought and recognize that he is feeding on the husk, and yet when he decides to return to the Father's house, there is everything there for him. In fact, the Father was not even conscious of the separation. It did not matter how far away the Son had wandered. All sense of apartness, isolation, limitation is only fictitious, for it is impossible for separation to be an actual fact. If it were possible, the universe could not be a whole. David illustrated this fact in his realization that it was impossible to get out of the universal system when he said, "Whither shall I flee from thy spirit?" And whether he went to the uttermost bounds of the earth, ascended unto heaven, or made his bed in hell, that same universal relationship awaited him. You cannot divide the indivisible. It is the same when death occurs. Many feel that there is a separation there, but in reality there is no such thing. We can be just as close to those that we feel have departed as we were in what we think of as this life. It is only the separation in our conscious thought. In what we call the superconscious, there is no separation whatever. If we would let go of that thought of separation, there would be no evidence of separation, for it exists only in consciousness. It might be more truly stated that separation exists only in unconsciousness, when one is unconscious of the true state of being. Separation is only an appearance, for in reality there could be no such thing. If the universe is a single unit and all things within it are eternally united into a single system, how and where could any separation exist? In fact, it could be only an imagined state. Ignorance of the facts is the only kind of separation that can exist, and illumination would completely eliminate that. Behold, our God is one, say the Scriptures, and if God is the great one, all things and all people are included within him, and being included within him, they are one in and with him. Our being is a complete universe in itself, and it acts in perfect harmony if we let go of every thought of inharmony or separation. The thought of harmony returns us to the unity of principle. We can think of ourselves so far out of harmony that sickness and disease and discordant conditions come about, but they are only that which is out of harmony. If we would keep in complete universal harmony in thought, there could be no inharmonious condition come into our lives, not one, because whenever we vibrate in harmonious relation with the universal principle, no inharmony can manifest. It is perfectly possible for it to be so. We make it possible ourselves for inharmony to manifest by the reduction of the vibration of our bodies, and in no other way. We allow what should be the impossible to take place. When we look upon complete accord as an impossibility, we worship discord instead of worshiping harmony. That was the very teaching that Jesus gave out when he said that you of yourself are always harmonious. He referred directly to that harmony of principle, which is reality, which in reality we always manifest, and which we could not help but manifest if we would let go of that personal, egotistical desire for direct service from our neighbor instead of giving service always. Our expectancy should be from above, and our attitude toward the world as giving. One of the easiest ways to isolate ourselves from harmony is to demand service from another instead of giving of our service all of the time. It does not matter if we direct it to one individual or a million individuals. When demanding service from others, we are always in that separation. But when in service to all, we are completely immersed in universality. When we give of ourselves, we come nearer and nearer to that universality where we belong. It takes no energy from our bodies to give out service, love, and harmony, but it does take energy from our bodies to give out inharmony or discordant conditions, or to give out negative thoughts or words. All positive words or words of accord add energy to our bodies every instant that we are giving them out. Not only that, but we create an influence that returns and surrounds us with emanating energy. One does not need instructions from a master, nor does he need to learn from a book what is true to the processes of the universal life in him. One knows when he violates the law of life, just as easily as one knows when the principles of music have been violated. Instantly a discord is recognized by anyone, whether he has studied music or not. The moment any discord or unpleasantness arises in the nature of man, that instant he should know that he is violating the law of his being. It is not only a violation of the law of his being, but it produces inharmonious results in his body. All discordant emotional and mental states are sins against man's true nature. Everything that produces an harmonious effect in man's nature, that which gives him a sense of peace, freedom, power, and harmony, is in direct harmony with life, and only harmonious results prevail. Man is exactly the same as a test tube in a chemical laboratory. If we add harmonious solutions, we get harmonious results. Otherwise, we set up an inharmonious condition wherein we get either inharmonious results or no results at all. We might see great turbulence in a test tube, but that is not in harmony if the correct chemicals are placed in that test tube. It is the same in our bodies. We never set up in harmony if we induce or give out only harmonious thoughts and feelings. It is absolutely impossible for us to set up in harmony if we give out harmony, because we surround ourselves with an influence that is completely harmonious. And if it is all harmony, no inharmony can manifest through that influence. It is all controlled through consciousness, and we become perfectly conscious of harmony, far more so than we can become conscious of inharmony, because harmony is our natural state. That is done by refusing to project our vision to inharmony.